Welcome everybody to the Kaput Center. This is the second speaker in our interdisciplinary colloquium series. I had the fun and joy of kicking off the series about a month ago. Finally got to speak at the Kaput Center. The theme of the series this year is on creativity. And so I've had a lot of fun over the past year finding speakers from lots of different areas to attend to the intersection of creativity with mathematics and science, technology and engineering education. So it's a great honor to introduce you, Dennis Hilliard, from the State Crime Lab. I want to give you a little bio about Dennis before he begins. And he's explained to me that he wants it's an interactive lecture, so there's going to be hopefully active participation from you all. Some of you have to be actively participating because it's part of the course. But Dennis is the director of the Rhode Island State Crime Lab and an adjunct professor of biomedical sciences in the College of Pharmacy at URI. Mr. Hilliard's current responsibilities centre on the analytical and educational missions of the State Crime Lab, which is located in the College of Pharmacy at the University of Rhode Island, URI. In addition to the administration of the State Crime Lab, his work includes analysis of evidence and court testimony in the areas of fire debris analysis, hair and fibre analysis, DNA analysis, and breath and blood alcohol analysis. It's very, very interesting. He has worked in the forensic science field since 1980. He was appointed acting director of the State Crime Lab in 1992 and was appointed to the director's position in 1995 and has held a position in the University's College of Pharmacy as an adjunct assistant professor of biomed sciences since 1994. In 1998, he joined with two other URI faculty members to propose the creation of the Forensic Science Partnership. The university funded the proposal in 1999, and Dennis has served as a co-director of this successful partnership since that time, CSI at URI. He is a member of several professional forensic organizations and is past president of the Northeastern Association of Forensic Science. Time to sleep. Mr. Hilliard has testified over 100 times in the state and federal courts of Rhode Island. He has been qualified by the court as an expert witness to give opinion evidence in the fields of fire debris analysis, accelerants, basic serology, DNA testing, hair and fibre analysis, and blood alcohol. He's the real thing, even though I and my wife are avid fans of CSI. We have the real deal here today. I'm very excited to introduce to you Dennis Hilliard.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks for inviting me. I got a call from Steve, and he wanted to know if I was interested in this. He said, "Oh, you don't have to worry. We'll have you in the spring. You'll come in the spring and you'll give you a lecture. You'll have lots of time to prepare." A couple weeks later, I get a call. "Can you come up in October and fill in?" So sure, I'm happy to do this. And I've lectured to a lot of different groups, variety of groups, Lions clubs, civil organizations. High school students are very interested in this. Grade school career days I've been to. So it's fun to come up and to talk about what I do. I know we're going to involve science, technology, math, engineering. And forensic science does incorporate all that, and each one has its specialties. So if you want to go into forensic engineering, you can do that. You want to go into forensic chemistry, you can do that. There's a whole breadth of things. Most people come to me and they want to go into the field. They want to be the CSI agent. And up in the Northeast, if you don't know it, it's a police officer who does that work, right? So it's a cop who's been trained in this. So when I tell them they have to become law enforcement, I say, "Oh, no, I don't want to become a cop." "Well, what do you want to do?" He says, "I want to solve the case." "Well, what do you want to do to solve the case?" "Oh, I want to be like CSI. It does everything," because they do everything, right? One person goes to the scene, collects the evidence, brings it back to the lab, works on the evidence, and then presents it to who? The suspect. And the suspect goes, "Oh, you got me." It's certainly not the case. So we'll talk a little bit about that, because it's a big part of what we are. There is a CSI effect out there. I don't know if anyone has served on a jury recently. No. This is interactive. Recently. I mean, as a jury, on a criminal jury, to sit on the jury and now hear the evidence. And one of the CSI effects is that the common person on a jury watches CSI and its ilk. And therefore, if you do not have DNA evidence, If you do not have a clear and convincing fingerprint, it must not be the guy, right? You don't have the evidence. They always get the evidence on CSI. They don't, or we don't always get the evidence. So we'll talk a little about that and what we do in our laboratory and what's done in forensic science in general. And something about the NAS report. I don't know if any of you had a chance to read the NAS report. That was homework. No one read it? 13 recommendations for forensic sciences. All right, then we can skip those slides. That's okay with me. But if you want to look at that, we can do that. Do you want to turn down the lights a little bit so I can better view this?
It's an all
or nothing, so you all get to go to sleep. I've had that too. Go to synergy centers all the time. And, okay, that's fine. I don't like talking about. How about video?
It's fairly dark on video now.
Too dark in video?
I mean, it shows up nice up there, but you can barely see.
Well, if I just talk over the screen, you don't have to get me in the picture.
If you don't want to be in the picture,
That's fine. Let's get the graphics going
Okay.
here. Okay, so this basically reiterates who I am and what I do. And CSI, as I just explained, I'm not a CSI agent. I don't have the six-pack abs. I don't carry a gun. The ladies in my office do not wear leather skirts and high heels. So if it's the only thing you wanted to be in the lab for, you got to think comment. So we're not CSI. This incorporates in real life at least 4 or 5 people. First officer is the scene, to protect the scene. Second officer who has specialized training in crime scene investigation to collect and preserve the evidence. Then perhaps a forensic scientist, and perhaps more than one in the different specialties, because unlike Abby Shuto and NCIS, we do not do everything from soup to nuts. And then it involves the component that I never see in CSI, the prosecutor, right? You never see a prosecutor in CSI because they bring the suspect in a table like this, they show him the evidence, and the guy gives up, right? That's the way it happens. And it all happens in 50 minutes, less commercials. So, it doesn't happen that way in real life. So, we shouldn't pay the whole thing, but when I was asked to speak, the fellow who sets up, Ryan, is it?
Yes.
Sets up he said, well, on your webpage, we can have a flashover. I don't know if anyone did it. Run their mouse over my picture, and then up came Gil Grissom, right? At first it was going to be David here, but I said, David's a cop. I'm not really a cop, and I don't do sunglasses really well, so I relate more to Gil Grissom, so who am I? In between there, somewhere is me. Go to the next page. But here's the CSI ilk, and there they all are, very pretty people. The only guy who really doesn't really look, he's probably most likely a cop. The ladies do not look like this, unfortunately. There's a lot more ladies in forensics. It's like in most sciences now, we're seeing an upswing in female presence within the sciences. I've been in the College of Pharmacy since 1976 as a student and then as a worker in college. And I've seen the shift from male to female. When I first started, it was like 60% male and 40% female. It has actually flipped. So it's 60% female and 40% male. And the same thing in forensic sciences. We see more female students coming into the sciences here, and reflected here. Here's Abby. She's my favorite forensic scientist because, like you said before, she does everything. She knows how to run a mass spec. She can do fingerprint comparisons. She can do bullet analysis. She can do everything. It's just amazing the woman can do. So we're at the University of Rhode Island, and we've been around since the early 1950s. We have 1958 here is because it's a date that we were recognized by the Attorney General of the state of Rhode Island, but recently I found paperwork that recognizes us back to 1952. We've always been part of the University of Rhode Island because it was a professor of chemistry who brought the laboratory to be. It was his working in chemistry and applying his knowledge of chemistry to matters of law, which is the definition of forensic science, the application of scientific technique or specialties to questions of matter of law. And he created the laboratories for scientific criminal investigation and basically started to sell his services or offer his services for no cost to local police departments. And also offered to train their investigators in scientific technique. Now, does anybody know police officer? You have a police officer in your family or a friend? Do they like science and math? No, they hate science and math. That's why they became cops. So when they want to become a crime scene investigator, guess what they have to learn? Science and math, because it's all science and math. It's basically segregating the crime scene, processing crime scene, preserving the crime scene, documenting the crime scene with photography, and then the collection and preservation of evidence, knowing what to do with certain evidence.